What if a boy with nothing could change his life with a single question? This is the story of how a curious mind unlocked a world of secrets. And it starts right now. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss how he did it. This boy's name is Bill Gates. It's a name that many of us know, a name that has become a symbol of success and new ideas. But his story is not just about becoming rich. It's a story about believing in your dreams, working hard, and turning your ideas into something real. It's a story about never, ever giving up, no matter how difficult life gets. Today, we will begin his journey. We will talk about his childhood, his amazing curiosity, the challenges he faced, and how his love for computers first started. By the time we finish this story, you will not only know about Bill Gates's early life, but I hope you will also feel inspired to follow your own dreams. And remember, as we go along together, try to learn some new English words and phrases, just like Bill Gates believed in learning something new every single day. So let's begin. Bill Gates was born on October 28, 1955, in a city called Seattle, in the state of Washington, in the USA. He was born into a loving and supportive family. His full name was William Henry Gates III. This name came from his father and his grandfather, as he was the third person in his family line to have this name. When he was born, just a small baby, no one in his family could have guessed that this little boy would one day become a global icon, a person known all around the world. Bill's family was not very rich, and they were not poor either. They lived a comfortable middle-class life. His father, William H. Gates Sr., was a tall and disciplined man. He was a lawyer, and he believed deeply in the importance of hard work and a good education. His mother, Mary Maxwell Gates, was a kind and very intelligent woman. She first worked as a teacher, and later she served on the boards of big companies. Even as a tiny baby, Bill was full of curiosity. His parents often joked that he could just stare at something for hours, his little eyes wide, trying to understand how it worked. This powerful curiosity would become one of his greatest strengths as he grew up. From a very early age, Bill showed signs that he was incredibly smart. He loved books. He read everything he could find. By the time he was just 7 years old, he was reading big books about science, history, and even law. His favorite place in the whole house was the family's small library. It was a quiet room filled with books. He could sit there for hours and hours with a book resting in his lap, lost in another world. But Bill wasn't a perfect student in school. In fact, he was often bored. The lessons felt too easy for him, and his mind would wander. He didn't always like following the rules, and sometimes his teachers would complain that he was restless and couldn't sit still. However, his sharp and quick mind always made him stand out. One day, when he was about 9 years old, a teacher asked him, "Bill, why do you always look so distracted in my class?" Bill looked at her and replied with confidence, "Because I have already read the book." His parents understood that Bill needed a bigger challenge. They knew his school was not enough for his hungry mind. So they decided to enroll him in a special school called the Lakeside School. It was a prestigious school known for encouraging bright and talented students. Going to Lakeside School would change Bill's life forever. It was here at this school that he was introduced to something that fascinated him even more than books. That something was computers. In the late 1960s, computers were very rare. They were not like the computers we have today. They were huge machines that filled entire rooms. Only big companies or large universities could afford to have them. But Lakeside School had a computer, and Bill was immediately drawn to it. The very first time he touched a computer keyboard, he felt a spark. It was like he had discovered a secret kind of magic. Bill would spend hours and hours in the computer room. He wanted to learn everything he could about how to program the computer. His passion was so strong that he would often skip his other classes just to have more time to work on the computer. At first, his teachers were a little annoyed by this, but soon they saw that Bill had a special natural talent for it. One day, his math teacher told him, "Bill, you might just change the world someday." Bill didn't just use the computer for fun. When he was only 13 years old, he created his first computer program. It was a simple game of tic-tac-toe where a person could play against the computer. This small achievement, this first creation, filled him with a wonderful feeling of pride. It showed him what was possible with programming. It opened his mind to a world of possibilities. During his time at Lakeside, Bill met a student named Paul Allen. Paul was a few years older than Bill, and he also shared a deep love for computers. Paul was quiet and thoughtful, while Bill was energetic and loved to talk. Even though their personalities were different, they became very close friends. Their shared passion for computers connected them. Paul and Bill would spend hours together just talking about the future of computers. They dreamed about what computers could become. One day, Paul said something that sounded incredible at the time. He said, "Bill, I believe that one day there will be a computer on every desk and in every home." This idea seemed almost impossible back then. Computers were so big and expensive, only huge businesses used them. But Bill believed it too. And so, they started dreaming together, thinking about how they could make this amazing vision come true. By the time Bill was 15 years old, he wasn't just learning anymore. He was earning money. Together with his friend Paul Allen, he started his very first business. They called it Trafo Data. They created a special computer program that could analyze traffic data for cities. From this project, they earned $28,000. For two teenagers in the 1970s, this was a huge amount of money. This first experience taught Bill a very important lesson. He learned that success isn't just about having good ideas. It's about turning those ideas into real action. He realized that to achieve big dreams, you have to work hard and you have to be willing to take risks. Bill's love for learning and working didn't mean he was always serious. He had a playful side too. At Lakeside, he enjoyed sitting with the girls during classes. It wasn't to flirt with them, but because he believed that the girls were more focused and disciplined students. This small habit helped him become more comfortable interacting with different people and building connections. But Bill was also very competitive. He loved a good challenge. He would often make bets with his friends about who could solve a difficult problem faster. He really hated losing and would do whatever it took to find the answer and come out on top. His parents sometimes worried about his obsession with computers. They saw him spending so much time in front of the machine. One evening, his mother said to him gently, "Bill, you can't spend your whole life in front of a computer." Bill looked at her and replied with a smile, "Why not, Mom? One day, computers will change the world, and I want to be a part of that." Even as a teenager, Bill showed the signs of a great leader. He wasn't just interested in writing programs himself. He wanted to build something big. He dreamed of creating a company that would make computers accessible to everyone. At Lakeside, Bill and Paul would often stay late into the night, sitting in the quiet computer room discussing their dreams. They didn't have all the answers, of course, but they had one very important thing in common: a powerful vision for the future. In 1973, when Bill Gates was just 18 years old, he enrolled at Harvard University. Harvard is one of the best and most famous colleges in the entire world. His parents were so thrilled. They were very proud. They believed that Bill would follow in his father's footsteps and become a successful lawyer. But Bill had a different plan in his mind. While all the other students were busy studying subjects like law history or medicine, Bill spent most of his time in the university's computer lab. He would often skip his regular classes to learn more about programming and to write his own computer code. He loved the challenge of solving problems and creating software that could make computers work better and faster. One day, a professor at Harvard asked Bill, "Why don't you focus on your studies instead of spending all your time with these computers?" Bill just smiled and said, "Because this is the future. Computers will change everything, and I want to be ready for it." Even at a place like Harvard, full of brilliant students, Bill's passion for computers made him stand out. He wasn't just a student, he was a visionary. He saw a future that others couldn't see yet. Then, in 1974, while Bill was still a student at Harvard, something happened that would change his life forever. A company called MIT, yes, created the very first personal computer. It was called the Altair 8800. This was a huge deal. It was a breakthrough. Until that moment, computers were large, expensive machines that only big businesses could afford. The Altair was different. It was small enough and cheap enough for a person to own. When Bill and his friend Paul Allen saw an advertisement for the Altair 8800, they knew this was their chance. This was the moment they had been waiting for. They believed that personal computers would soon become very popular, and they wanted to be a part of this exciting revolution. Paul called Bill one night, his voice full of excitement. "Bill, this is it," he said. "We need to act fast before someone else does." Bill agreed completely. Together, they decided to write a software program for the Altair 8800, a program that would make it more useful for people. But here's the amazing thing, they didn't even own an Altair computer. They had to create the entire program using nothing but their knowledge, their skills, and their imagination. It was a very big risk. What if it didn't work? But Bill believed in their abilities. In 1975, at the young age of 20, Bill made a very bold decision. He decided to drop out of Harvard University to start his own company with Paul Allen. Can you imagine what his parents must have felt? They were disappointed and very worried. His mother said, "Bill, what are you doing? Harvard is your future." But Bill replied, "Mom, this is my future. Computers are my passion, and I can't let this opportunity slip away." It was not an easy decision. Leaving one of the best universities in the world to start a company with no guarantees of success was a huge risk. But Bill had faith in his vision. In that same year, 1975, Bill and Paul started a company. They decided to call it Microsoft, which was a combination of the words microcomputer and software. Later, they removed the hyphen, and it became Microsoft. Their goal was simple: to create software for personal computers. The first few months were very tough. They didn't have a real office, they didn't have much money, and they didn't have a team. It was just two young men with a big dream. Bill worked day and night writing code and meeting with potential clients. Paul focused on building partnerships and telling people about their new company. Finally, their hard work paid off. The program they had created for the Altair 8800 was a success, and soon other companies started to notice Microsoft. As Microsoft began to grow, Bill realized he couldn't do everything by himself. He needed a team. He needed to find talented people who shared his passion for innovation. So he started hiring the best programmers and engineers he could find. Bill was a tough boss. He demanded excellence from everyone because he demanded it from himself. He worked harder than anyone else in the company. He would often stay in the office until 2 or 3 in the morning, carefully checking every single line of code to make sure it was perfect. He believed that if you want to achieve greatness, You have to give your best effort every single day. In 1980, Microsoft got its first really big break. A huge company called IBM was building its own personal computer, and it needed an operating system. An operating system is like the brain of a computer. It's the essential software that controls everything and allows other programs to run. IBM approached Microsoft and asked if they could create one. The truth was, Bill didn't have an operating system ready. But he didn't say no. He saw the opportunity. Instead, he confidently promised IBM that Microsoft would deliver what they needed. So what did he do? Bill acted quickly. He found an existing operating system called QDOS, which stood for Quick and Dirty Operating System. He bought it, improved it, and renamed it MS-DOS, which means Microsoft Disk Operating System. He then sold the license to IBM, and it became a massive success. Every IBM personal computer that was sold now used Microsoft software. This deal changed everything. Microsoft went from being a small, struggling company to a major player in the technology industry. Bill Gates was not just a programmer anymore. He was a leader. He knew how to motivate his team and push them to do their best work. He believed in innovation, and he was never afraid to take risks. One of Bill's most famous quotes is, "Success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose." This is a very interesting idea. It means that you should never become too confident even when you are successful. You must always be ready for the next challenge. Bill also believed in continuous learning. He often told his team, "Never stop improving. There's always a better way to do something." Success didn't come without challenges, of course. Microsoft faced a lot of competition from other tech companies, and some people doubted Bill's abilities. But Bill never gave up. He stayed focused, he worked hard, and he continued to innovate. He believed that every challenge was just an opportunity to learn and grow stronger. By the time Bill was in his mid-20s, Microsoft was growing very, very quickly. But he didn't stop there. Bill had a bigger vision. He wanted to make computers affordable and accessible to everyone in the world. This powerful vision drove him to work harder than ever before. He wanted to change the way people lived, worked, and communicated with each other. By the early 1980s, Microsoft was no longer just a small company. It had become a leader in the software industry. Bill Gates and his team worked tirelessly day and night to create better programs and tools that could be used by everyone from students in their classrooms to big businesses in their offices. In 1985, Microsoft launched one of its most famous products ever: Windows. Windows was a revolutionary operating system because it made computers much easier to use. Before Windows, using a computer was complicated. You had to type in complex commands, and only experts could really operate them. But Windows changed all of that. It introduced a graphical interface with pictures and icons. Now anyone could use a computer with simple clicks of a mouse and easy-to-understand commands. The launch of Windows was a major turning point for Microsoft. It became a huge global success and was installed on millions and millions of computers all around the world. Bill Gates's dream of bringing a computer into every home and every office was finally starting to come true. As Microsoft grew, so did its competition. Other companies like Apple were also developing innovative and exciting technology. Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, was one of Bill Gates's biggest competitors. But here's an interesting part of their story. While they were rivals in business, Bill and Steve also had a strange kind of respect for each other. They were two very different people who both wanted to change the world. Steve Jobs once said that Bill was unimaginative, but he also said that Bill was brilliant at running a company. And Bill said about Steve, "Steve had a flair for design like no one else. He made things beautiful." Even though their approaches were different, both men shared a passion for using technology to make a difference. By 1987, at the age of just 31, Bill Gates became the youngest self-made billionaire in the world. Can you imagine that the young man who once spent all his time in a school computer lab was now one of the richest people on the entire planet? But Bill didn't let his incredible success make him lazy. In fact, he worked even harder. He believed that with great success comes great responsibility. One of Bill's most famous quotes reflects this belief. He said, "If you are born poor, it's not your fault. But if you die poor, it's your fault." This quote shows his strong belief that everyone has the power to change their own life through hard work and determination. While Bill was busy building Microsoft into a global giant, his personal life was also taking shape. In 1987, he met a young woman named Melinda French. She worked at Microsoft and was very intelligent, kind, and driven. Bill and Melinda started dating, and they quickly realized they had a lot in common. Most importantly, both of them believed in using their success to help make the world a better place. In 1994, Bill and Melinda got married in a private ceremony in Hawaii. Their wedding was simple and elegant, which reflected their down-to-earth personalities. Together, they had 3 children. Jennifer Gates was born in 1996, and she later became a very accomplished equestrian and a medical student. Rory Gates was born in 1999, and he is known for being intelligent and private. And Phoebe Gates was born in 2002, and she shares her father's passion for education and innovation. Despite being one of the richest families in the world, Bill and Melinda raised their children with a sense of humility. They didn't spoil them with endless luxuries. Instead, they taught them the value of hard work, kindness, and giving back. Leading a company as big as Microsoft was not always easy. Bill often faced criticism from the media and from other companies. Some people said he was too aggressive in his business methods. Others questioned Microsoft's practices and power. In the late 1990s, Microsoft faced a major legal challenge. The United States government accused the company of using unfair practices to create a monopoly and dominate the software market. This was a very stressful time for Bill, as the case went on for several years. But Bill did not give up. He faced the challenges head-on. He learned from his mistakes, and he continued to lead Microsoft with passion and determination. As Bill grew older, he began to realize that his incredible wealth could do more than just build a successful company. In the year 2000, he and Melinda started the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. This was one of the largest private charitable organizations in the entire world. The foundation focuses on trying to solve some of the world's biggest and most difficult problems, such as improving global health. They work to fight terrible diseases like malaria, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS. They also work on providing education, helping children in poor countries go to school and learn. And they work on providing access to clean water building systems to bring clean, safe drinking water to communities in need. Bill once said, "Money has no utility to me beyond a certain point. Its utility is entirely in building an organization and getting resources out to the poorest in the world." Throughout his life, Bill has shared many powerful words of wisdom. Here are a few of his most inspiring quotes. One is, "I choose a lazy person to do a hard job, because a lazy person will find an easy way to do it." This is interesting, isn't it? It means that sometimes simplicity and new ideas come from unexpected places. Another is, "Don't compare yourself with anyone in this world. If you do so, you are insulting yourself." Bill encourages everyone to focus on their own journey and not get distracted by what others are doing. And a third one is, patience is a key element of success. This is so true. Success doesn't usually happen overnight. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes a lot of patience. People often wonder, how much money does Bill Gates actually make? While it's hard to calculate an exact number, let's try to understand it. In just 1 second, Bill makes around $127. In 1 minute, that's about $600. And in just 1 day, he earns over $10 million. It's an amount of money that is hard to imagine. But even though Bill has so much wealth, he does not live an extravagant life. He believes in using his money to help other people and to create a better world for everyone. There is a famous story about him. One day, a young journalist got the chance to interview Bill Gates. The journalist was very excited, but also very nervous. He wanted to ask Bill Gates the secret of his success. The interview started, and the journalist asked, "Sir, what is the secret of your success?" Bill Gates smiled kindly. He took out a blank check from his pocket. He handed the check to the journalist and said, "Write any amount you want and take it." The journalist was shocked. He thought Bill Gates must be joking. So he laughed nervously and said, No, sir. I don't want money. I just want to know your secret of success." Bill Gates kept smiling and said, "I am serious. Write any amount you want. Take it." The journalist started to feel uncomfortable. He refused again and said, "Sir, I respect you very much, but I cannot take your money. I just want to learn from you." Bill Gates looked at him and said, "This is the secret of my success. When I see an opportunity, I grab it. I don't hesitate. You had the chance to take this check, a huge opportunity, but you hesitated. You thought too much. Most people miss their opportunities because they think too much, or they are afraid to take risks. Success comes to those who take action." The journalist finally understood the lesson. Success is not just about working hard. It is also about seeing opportunities, taking smart risks, and making the most of the chances you are given. By the early 2000s, Microsoft was at the very peak of its success. Bill Gates was the face of the tech industry, a person admired and respected all around the world. But as the company grew bigger and bigger, Bill realized something important. He wanted to focus on more than just business. In 2006, Bill made a big announcement. He decided to step down from his day-to-day role at Microsoft. This decision shocked many people. Why would someone leave the amazing company they had built from nothing? But Bill explained his reason. He said, "I've been very lucky to achieve success in technology. Now I want to spend my time giving back to the world." After stepping back from Microsoft, Bill began to focus full-time on the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. This foundation wasn't just any charity. It was one of the most ambitious and hopeful projects in the world. Bill said, "The goal is to give every child, no matter where they are born, a chance to live a healthy and productive life." Even with all his efforts, some people questioned if his foundation could really solve such huge problems. Others accused him of using his money to gain power. But Bill didn't let this negativity stop him. Instead, he stayed focused on his mission. He once said, "If I listened to every critic, I would never get anything done. Focus on the work, not the noise." This is a powerful lesson for all of us. No matter what we do in life, there will always be people who doubt us. The key is to stay determined and to believe in yourself. Bill is not just about giving money away. He is also about finding innovative solutions. One of his most exciting projects is working on clean energy. He realized that climate change is one of the biggest threats to our world. To fight this, he started funding projects to create renewable energy like solar and wind power. He also supported research on new types of nuclear energy that are safe and sustainable. Bill believes that if we invest in science and new ideas, we can solve even the toughest problems. Even though Bill is no longer running Microsoft, he continues to inspire millions of people. He often gives speeches at schools, universities, and conferences. In his talks, he shares his personal journey and encourages young people to dream big. One of his most famous pieces of advice is, "Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start now. Take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them." Despite being one of the richest men in the world, Bill Gates lives a surprisingly simple life. Yes, of course he has a big house, but he doesn't spend his money on flashy cars or unnecessary luxuries. Instead, he loves spending quiet time with his family. He and Melinda worked hard to raise their children with good values. They didn't give their kids unlimited money. In fact, they decided to leave most of their fortune to charity, not to their children. Bill explained, "I want my kids to have their own identity. Giving them too much money would take away their motivation to work hard and create their own path." His parenting style teaches us an important lesson. True success is not about wealth, it's about character. Even as a billionaire, Bill Gates follows a simple daily routine. He believes that good habits are the foundation of a successful life. Here is a small look into his daily life. In the morning, Bill starts his day by reading. He reads about science, history, and global issues. He believes that reading expands your mind and helps you think more critically. During the day, even though he's no longer at Microsoft, he still works hard on his foundation's projects, meets with scientists, and reviews progress. In the evening, he enjoys playing bridge, a card game, with his friends. It helps him to relax and keeps his mind sharp. Bill believes in always staying curious. He says, "No matter how busy you are, make time to learn. Learning is the best investment you can make in yourself." During the COVID-19 pandemic, Bill Gates played a major role in helping the world. His foundation donated billions of dollars to help develop vaccines and to distribute them to poorer countries that could not afford them. Bill Gates' story is not just about building Microsoft or becoming one of the richest men in the world. It's about changing the definition of what success means. For many people, success is about wealth, fame, and power. But for Bill, success is about impact. It's about the positive difference you can make in the lives of other people. After stepping away from Microsoft, Bill Gates became a symbol of hope and possibility. His journey taught the world that success doesn't end with personal achievements. It truly begins when you use your success to help lift others up. In one of his speeches, he said, "The true measure of success is not how much you've achieved, but how many lives you've improved." This simple but powerful idea became the foundation of his life's work. Even in his later years, Bill Gates is far from slowing down. He has devoted himself completely to solving some of the world's biggest challenges. His foundation is tackling climate change, improving education, and working to eradicate diseases like malaria and polio. Bill often says, "The future is not something we enter, it's something we create. Let's create a future where everyone has a chance to succeed." By the year 2023, Bill Gates had donated over $50 billion through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. But it's not just the huge amount of money that matters, it's the philosophy behind it. Bill believes that great wealth is not meant to be kept and hidden away. He often says, "If you're fortunate enough to be successful, you have a duty to give back." Wealth should be used to solve problems, not create them. His incredible giving inspired other billionaires to follow his lead. In 2010, Bill and his good friend, the famous investor Warren Buffett, launched the Giving Pledge. This is a commitment by the world's wealthiest people to donate the majority of their wealth to charity. Today, More than 230 billionaires have joined this movement. This amazing act of generosity shows us that true greatness comes not from what you take, but from what you give. Even though Bill Gates is admired by millions, his life has not been free of challenges. In 2021, he and Melinda announced their divorce after 27 years of marriage. This was a very difficult and sad time for him, both personally and professionally. But instead of letting the situation break him, Bill remained focused on his mission. He and Melinda continued to work together at their foundation, putting their shared vision for a better world above their personal differences. This chapter of his life teaches us an important lesson. Challenges will come to all of us. They are inevitable. But how you respond to them is what defines your character. Bill often says, "Life will test you in ways you can't imagine." But every challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger. As one of the most influential people in modern history, Bill Gates has shared countless pieces of wisdom. Here are some of his most inspiring thoughts for the next generation. First, dream big. But start small. Don't wait for the perfect moment to begin. Start where you are. Use what you have, and build from there. Second, embrace failure. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the journey. Every mistake teaches you something valuable. Third, value your time. Time is your most precious resource. Use it wisely. Spend it on things that truly matter. Learning, growing, and helping others. Fourth, be curious. The world is full of problems, but it is also full of opportunities. Stay curious. Keep learning, and you will find solutions. And fifth, kindness is a strength. The world needs more compassion. Be kind to others, not because it is always easy, but because it is the right thing to do. He once said, "At the end of the day, it's not about the money, the fame, or the awards. It's about the people you love and the difference you've made." Bill Gates's life is a powerful reminder that anyone, no matter where they start, can achieve greatness. He was once just a curious boy who loved reading books and playing with computers. Today, he is a global icon who has transformed our world. Here are the key lessons from his amazing journey. 1. Education is power. Never stop learning. Knowledge is the key that unlocks your potential. 2. Take action. Don't just dream. Do. Don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Start small and build your way up. 3. Be resilient. Life will have ups and downs, but remember, every challenge is an opportunity to grow. And 4. Give back. True success is about helping others. Find a way to make a positive difference in the world. And 5. Stay humble. No matter how much you achieve, always remember your roots and stay grounded. Bill Gates's impact on the world will be felt for generations to come. He has proven that one person with a clear vision and strong determination can change the course of history. From building Microsoft, to fighting global poverty, from transforming technology to inspiring the next generation, Bill Gates's legacy is a testament to the power of hard work, curiosity, and compassion. His life is a story of courage, innovation, and generosity. But more than anything, it is a story of hope. It tells us that no matter who you are or where you come from, you have the power within you to shape your own future. So learn from Bill's journey. Embrace your own challenges and work hard toward your dreams. And remember, greatness is not about where you start. It's about where you are willing to go. This is not the end of Bill Gates's story. It is only the beginning of the incredible legacy he is leaving for the world. And it is a reminder to all of us that we too can make a difference. Thank you for listening.